The Fed sees economic pain ahead. Stock markets are feeling it now. The Washington Post. The Federal Reserve's fight against inflation promises to slow the economy. And Wall Street is roiled. Blue-chip stocks plunged to their lowest level since 2020 on Friday, continuing a bad slump that began in August as investors tried to grapple with economic headwinds in the United States and around T. plus 6868 CHARS. Roman Reigns and an Usos title defense puts the Bloodline center stage. WWE Now. Sept. 23, 2022. WWE. Null. Your browser isn't supported anymore. Update it to get the best YouTube experience and our latest features. Learn more. National Security Risk Review of material Trump kept at Mar-a-Lago resumes after appeals court ruling. Politico. Intelligence officials have resumed the National Security Risk Review of classified documents that were seized at former President Donald Trump's Florida estate. The intelligence community's assessment of national security risks stemming from Trump's possession of the classified materials has two tracks, as laid out by Director of National Intelligence Avril Ha. Plus 3461 CHARS. Reusable contact lenses could cause blindness. Study. New York Post. Wearing reusable contact lenses could lead to a rare infection that causes sight loss, according to eye-opening new research. Don't be blind to the risks of contacts. Wearing reusable contact lenses could lead to a rare infection that causes sight loss, according to eye-opening new research. People who wear multi-use lens. Plus 2529 CHARS. Mars is already trashed. Humans have left more than 15,000 pounds of debris on the red planet. Daily Mail. A robotics expert analyzed the mass of all rovers and orbiters sent to Mars in the last 50 years, and subtracted the weight of what is currently in operation, resulting in 15,694 pounds of debris. Humans have left more than 15,000 pounds of trash on Mars in the last 50 years, and not a single person has ever stepped foot on the red planet. Kagri Kilic, a postdoctoral research fellow in robotic. Plus 4370 CHARS. Laver Cup interrupted when protester sets his arm on fire. The Washington Post. A man protesting the use of private jets in the United Kingdom set his arm on fire during a Laver Cup tennis match in London. A man wearing a T-shirt with a slogan protesting the use of private jets in the United Kingdom interrupted a match at the Laver Cup tennis exhibition at the O2 Arena in London by lighting his writer. Plus 2106 CHARS. How 3 hours of inaction from Amazon cost cryptocurrency holders $235,000, asked Technica. For second time in 4 years, Amazon loses control of its IP space in BGP hijacking. 18 with 16 posters participating. Amazon recently lost control of IP addresses it uses to host cloud services and took more than 3 hours to regain control, a lapse that allowed hackers to steal plus 3035 CHARS. I'm worried markets won't hit bottom until the Fed cuts rates, says Bofas Subramanian, CNBC Television. Savita Subramanian, BofA Securities head of U.S. equity and quantitative strategy, joins Power Lunch to discuss why she believes stocks can fall further. Fr. Null. Rings of Power's songs. Mithril Tree Myth Rewrite The Lord of the Rings Origin. Polygon. The Lord of the Rings. The Rings of Power's new episode reveals the important message of the song, The Roots of Athelia. The mithril origin story invented by the show. Despite its status as a prequel, Amazon's The Lord of the Rings. The Rings of Power still has plenty to teach us about the history of Middle-earth. Or at least its version of that history. While the S+2524 Chars. 2022 President's Cup Scores. Results. Live coverage. Standings. Golf updates. Schedule for Day 2 on Friday. CBS Sports. Live scores. Updates and highlights from Day 2 featuring 4-ball action at the President's Cup. The United States takes a commanding 4-1 lead into Day 2 of the 2022 President's Cup at Quail Hollow Golf Club. The U.S. looked right at home in Charlotte. And the Americans appear primed to win their +2070 Chars. COVID raises risk of long-term brain injury. Large U.S. study finds. KSL.com. People who had COVID-19 are at higher risk for a host of brain injuries a year later compared with people who were never infected by the coronavirus. A finding that could affect millions of Americans. U.S. researchers reported on Thursday. Estimated read time. 2 to 3 minutes. Chicago people who had COVID-19 are at higher risk for a host of brain injuries a year later, compared with people who were never infected by the coronavirus. Affinity. +2359 Chars. Next launch attempt of Artemis I set for Tuesday, but could delay due to tropical depression. CNN. The Artemis I rocket will get its third launch attempt on Tuesday, September 27, but Tropical Depression 9 could change that. Null. 2022 President's Cup Scores. Results. Live coverage. Standings. Golf updates. Schedule for Day 2 on Friday. CBS Sports. Live scores. Updates and highlights from Day 2 featuring 4-ball action at the President's Cup. The United States takes a commanding 4-1 lead into Day 2 of the 2022 President's Cup at Quail Hollow Golf Club. The U.S. looked right at home in Charlotte. And the Americans appear primed to win their +2070 Chars. Xenoblade Chronicles 3: A Journey for New and Returning Players. Nintendo Null. Trump-linked Digital World Acquisition Corp shares are now around $16 after hitting $97 earlier this year. CNBC. Shares of Digital World Acquisition Corp. fell this week as the Trump media merger partner missed a key deadline to hold on to about $1 billion in financing. Shares of Digital World Acquisition Corp. fell this week as the company missed a key deadline to hold on to about $1 billion in financing for its proposed merger with former President Donald Trump's +3262 Chars. Olivia Wilde and Florence Pugh had screaming match on set. Report. Page 6. Pugh reportedly grew frustrated with Wilde's frequent, unexplained absences with boyfriend Harry Styles, who also stars in Don't Worry Darling. Darling, you may need to worry now. Florence Pugh and Olivia Wilde reportedly got into a screaming match on the embattled set of Don't Worry Darling. An unnamed insider who reportedly spent Signif. +3189 Chars. Next launch attempt of Artemis I set for Tuesday, but could delay due to tropical depression. CNN. The Artemis I rocket will get its third launch attempt on Tuesday, September 27, but Tropical Depression 9 could change that. Null. Surprising new features of mysterious fast radio bursts defy current understanding. SciTech Daily. Fast radio bursts, a puzzling and deepening mystery. An international team of scientists reveals an evolving, magnetized environment and surprising source location for deep space fast radio bursts. Observations that defy current understanding. Fast radio burr. By University of Nevada, Las Vegas, September 23, 2022. Artist's conception of 500-meter aperture spherical radio telescope. Fast. In China. Credit. Jingchuan Yu. Fast radio bursts are puzzling in +6286 Chars. Go Vols 247 staff picks. No. 20 Florida at No. 11 Vols. Other week 4 games 247 sports. The Go Vols 247 staff makes its predictions for No. 11 Tennessee's showdown with 20th-ranked Florida on Saturday and the week's other top games across the country. Every week throughout this season. Go Vols 247's Patrick Brown, Ryan Callahan, Ben McKee, Grant Ramey and Wes Rucker will make their predictions for the biggest games in college football, focusing on +1257 Chars. Google will start assimilating Fitbit accounts next year. Ars Technica. At first it's optional, but Fitbit accounts will be shut down in 2025. 30 with 22 posters participating. Google's acquisition of Fitbit closed in early 2021. But we haven't seen much in the way of changes yet. 9 to 5 Google spotted a big upcoming change posted on Fitbit's +4333 Chars. U.S. fiscal policy is undermining the Fed's efforts to fight inflation. CNBC. An expansionary U.S. fiscal policy that includes high levels of government spending is limiting the Federal Reserve's efforts to rein in runaway prices. Inflation remains the top issue on investors' minds, with many trying to determine when the relentless rise in prices will stop and whether the Federal Reserve's aggressive interest rate hikes to try +7026 Chars. King Charles to exile Prince Harry. Meghan Markle amid royal family. Stylecaster. Charles is following the same steps as Edward VIII's exile, unwelcoming his son. King Charles is reportedly exiling Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. A source close to the new reigning monarch told the Daily Beast about the future plans of what the king wants to +4932 Chars. Iranian state-organized marches call for execution of protesters. Reuters. State-organized demonstrations took place in several Iranian cities on Friday to counter nationwide anti-government unrest triggered by the death of a woman in police custody, with marchers calling for the execution of rioters. Dubai. September 23. Reuters. State-organized demonstrations took place in several Iranian cities on Friday to counter nationwide anti-government unrest triggered by the death of a woman in police custody. +4907 Chars. Advice? Ask Damon. Should I get my anti-vax friends' baby vaccinated without telling them? The Washington Post. A reader who babysits for friends who don't believe in vaccines asks whether they should take their friend's baby to be vaccinated without telling them. Hi Damon. My best friend is an anti-vaxxer. Not only COVID. All the vaccines. His wife is, too. They have a 9-month-old baby and they haven't vaccinated him. I babysit for them every other weekend. Shush. +2696 Chars. Fossil egg study suggests dinosaurs were already in decline when asteroid struck. CNN. It's a hard-fought debate. Did the massive asteroid that struck Earth 66 million years ago wipe out a thriving population of dinosaurs? Or were they already struggling to survive when that cataclysmic day dawned? A fossil egg study revealed insights. CNN. It's a hard-fought paleontological debate. Did the massive asteroid that struck Earth 66 million years ago wipe out the thriving and diverse population of dinosaurs? Or were they already struggling? +3238 Chars. Italy v England. Nations League. Live. The Guardian. Minute-by-minute report. Gareth Southgate's side are hoping to avoid being relegated. Join Scott Murray. Show key events only. Please turn on JavaScript to use this feature. 12 minutes. England recycle possession. Sterling floating one in from the left. Maguire, who had stayed up after the free kick. Loops AG. +4953 Chars. Splatoon 3 Overview Trailer. Nintendo Switch. Nintendo. Dive into the incredible world of Splatoon 3. Available now on Nintendo Switch. Here's everything you need to know about staying fresh in Splatsville. Include null